Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on True Tenchi Muyo Volume 3, Washu. Expectations can really affect how you enjoy something. When I read the first volume of this series, Jurai, I had low expectations because I did not care about Azusa. And at the end of that book, I came out really loving him as a character. For Volume 2, I was sort of like, I didn't dislike or like Yosho in particular, right? He was just sort of there. And after reading that book, I came out sort of the same. Washu is my favorite character in this series, and so my expectations for this book were probably a bit unrealistic. After reading Jurai, however many years ago I read it, I expected something similar for this, where it's like a bunch of important parts of Washu's life. Instead, it's pretty hyper-focused on her at the Galactic Academy, which wasn't called the Galactic Academy at this time, and her meeting her husband, and her having her baby, and them leaving her. I expected that to be in this book. I didn't expect it to be the whole book. And so I enjoyed what we got here, but I came out very disappointed that we didn't get a whole lot of new information about Washu, right? Like, Washu's incredibly old. She's like 10,000 years old, and in the color pages at the opening of this book, we have an illustration of her as a child. So I was expecting a bit more of her life, and we didn't get that, and I'm kind of disappointed in that. I still enjoyed this book, but because the expectations I had going in, I didn't enjoy it as much as I probably would have otherwise, right? So let's do a quick summary. I don't think in the last video I even talked about the opening scene to Yosho. Each one of these volumes has like a present day, and I'm putting present day in quotations because it's like the 90s. A present day segment that then leads into the book. So in Volume 1 Jurai, it's the cliffhanger from OVA 2 gets resolved, where it's like Azusa is coming back with all these men to be marriage candidates for Ayaka. We get a resolution to that in that book. In Volume 2, Yosho, it's just like Yosho interacting with Ayaka and like Washu and stuff, and we get like the reveal of, oh, Ayaka's hair isn't really purple, it's blue. Okay. This, we get a much more significant segment in the present, and I think it's because Washu is obviously an important character in the actual series, so we get like a whole big chapter at the beginning of this where it's like, oh, Washu has a letter, and Sasami gives her the letter, and it's the baby Taro's mother being like, hey, thanks for taking care of my child. And then her going on like this walk and just being sad. Like, this is going to be a silly way to put it because it sounds sort of cold, but it's like being sad that somebody stole her baby. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Of course she's upset about that. But yeah, we get like a really good opening scene of this. We see her go to, I think it's an observatory. Again, just like with Yosho, I read this book quite a few months ago, so some of the finer details are slipping. But I think she went to like an observatory, and then later on in this book, we see her buy an observatory from some old woman, where her and her friend Naja, and then her husband, whose name I don't remember at all, sorry, Washu's husband, live together. So that was really cool, and I liked sort of seeing, like, I liked how that tied in, where it's like, oh, Washu went off to this observatory place, like, why is that? What's going on? And then in the book, it's like, oh, it's like a replica of that observatory. I think it's a replica. I don't think she took the actual observatory. So let's get to the actual rest of the plot. We get the opening scene in present time, and then it goes to Washu as a... She's already manipulating her size, which is funny. But we get to the present, and she's pretending to be, not pretending to be a child, but she's in, like, her childish form. And then, like, the police stop her and it's like, you can't ride this motorcycle you're gonna ride, okay? Turn into an adult. Stop that. And she's like, alright, sorry, my bad. And she, gets bigger and then takes off. And then we see her leave to go to college. And we get like a segment on a ship as she's traveling where one of the like Jurian royal guards is actually a bad guy and tries to kill her, kill somebody. I don't remember. But basically she saves the day with science and hacking computers and stuff. And then she gets to the academy, she meets Naja, who eventually becomes her friend, and we didn't get much details about what happens to her in this book. I expected a bit about that too, because I know she dies at some point, and then Kagato is based on her. I don't know if he is a clone of her or what, but like Kagato and then the child that fused with Noike in OVA 3 are basically forms, or like, well, they're the same being, but they're based on Naja. So I expected a bit more of her, but we didn't get, like, she's just sort of here. And then we get a bit of focus on her and her husband, whose name I don't remember. Them meeting, them falling in love, them getting married, they have a child. Oh, he's from this planet, and we got some political stuff going on. Oh, he has to leave. They're taking the baby. Goodbye. And then we just get like I don't know how many years that all took place, like her getting to the academy and then them being a family. But then we get like her trying to get, oh my god, what is the Kurimitsu planet called? I can't remember. I don't think it's just called like Kurimitsu or whatever, but like the place where Mihoshi's family is from. I don't remember what that planet's called, and it's killing me. But anyway, he lives there. And we're way in the past, so like she can't just get there, or like they have like some sort of security or something. There's a reason that she can't just barge in. She has to it takes a while. It takes years for her to be able to sneak in and try and steal her child back. And so that took like 3 years. And then they go, she meets the kid, and then she leaves. There's a really cool like opening and ending to this, where like at the beginning, I think it's in the actual text and not just an illustration, but like the boy who is her son, seeing her and like her basically coming to get him, and then another child, a daughter, who would be his stepsister and then his eventual wife, just stopping him and being like, no, don't steal my brother. And then that's literally like at the opening, the beginning here, and then at the end we sort of tie that up where it's like Washu having an interaction with that girl's mother, and the mother being like, everything about Washu's kid being taken away sucks. The woman that eventually becomes his mother is great and gives an opportunity for Washu to like take her son back. It's like, yeah, this sucks. You lost your son. I'm going to give you a chance to take him. And then she doesn't. And Washu sort of makes the decision to leave him here with this woman, with the sister that eventually becomes his wife. And I think that was neat. And it does add more depth to sort of Washu's like turmoil about this whole thing, right? Lost her kid, took years trying to get to him, only to get there and be like, it was too late almost, right? Like they had been like, it had only been a few years, but like in that time he had grown so much. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna back out now, because yeah, he is my child, but he's got this actual family here already, and I like that a lot. I do like this book. I just wish we had gotten more of Washu's life. And here's something that I think, I'm just thinking this now. Yosho was kind of good as just like a one single volume. Jirai was sort of good as a one single volume. I think Washu could have got a couple of volumes. And one of the things that, after reading this book, I'm really disappointed in is, in the afterword, the writer, what is his name? Yosuke Kuroda, talks about how they have plans for more, and we just never got them. I would have loved to have seen more of these True Tenchi Muyo novels. Right, I see people talk about all the time, like, oh, maybe, like, I don't know if this is actually something that's known, or if it was speculation or what, but, like, people have talked about how there might have been a Mihoshi one to talk about how she got her, like, her accident, right? How that left her from being, like, this incredibly capable police officer to then sort of ditzy, but gets the job done. But I, honestly, if they just pumped out one of these, like, every year, and there was, like, 30 of these now, just about random characters, I'd be all in for it. Because these novels did a very good job of just telling a story with a character, which is something that is really lacking in the OVAs and stuff right now, where it's like they bring characters up, but it's always to justify world building and info dumps, right? All of OVA 4 and OVA 5 is sort of centered around Kenshi, and there's some good stuff in OVA 5. OVA 4 is kind of boring from what I remember, but like, yeah, we're focused on Kenshi growing up and getting ready to send him off, but it's really just an excuse to info dump and world build. And the same thing with the recent GXP anime, where it's like, okay, this is about Tsukiko's mother. What is her name? No, Tsukiko is the name of the mother. Kiriko's the daughter. This is about, like, Tsukiko focused, and it's like, no, it's really just a way for you to dump all this info about the magic system and stuff. And it's not, like, yeah, there's a story about her there, but it's not really about her. Each one of these novels was about the characters they're about, and yeah, there was some info on, like, the world and some political stuff, but it always felt like it was about the characters first. Like, this felt like a Washu novel. Yosho felt like a Yosho novel. Jirai, which isn't named after Azusa for some reason, felt like an Azusa novel, right? I want more stories like this in the Tenchi Muyo world, where it's character focused, and yeah, we're doing some world building, and yeah, we're doing some political intrigue stuff, but at the end of the day, it is just a story focused on this character, right? A character-driven story. That's what I care about. I'm more of a character guy, so all of these novels have been very good, and I've had different, enjoyment levels of each one, but I have enjoyed them all, and I really wish we had gotten more. So yeah, that's my thoughts on True Tenchi Muyo Volume 3. I've been rambling about just a bunch of stuff here at the end. I'm going to rank them real quick, just because it'll be really straightforward. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3 for me. Volume 1 was excellent. I really like that book, and I really like Azusa. Yosho was alright, but still enjoyable. 3 was a good book that really built on the story they sort of set up in OVA 2, but I wish we had gotten more of Washu's life. But yeah, that's it. I finally read all 3 of the True Tenchi Muyo novels, and I liked them a lot. Again, wish we got more. I don't see a day where we'll ever get, like, the GXP novels or the Paradise War novels, but if through some miracle somebody licensed them and somebody released them, I'd be there to buy them. GXP less so, because, like, info about that kind of soured me on it a bit. But, like, Paradise War would be cool, especially after the end of GXP. What is it? Paradise Begins? Paradise Starting? I forget what they called it. I'd go back and read that. But yeah, Tenchi Muyo novels. They're nice. They're nice character pieces that we're missing in the actual anime these days. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the series. I enjoyed them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time, when hopefully I'll be doing OVA 3 videos now. And that's something else I wanted to say. I'm glad I read these before I got to OVA 3, because now I can go into OVA 3 where it's like, okay, Airi's going to pop up, and Seto's going to pop up, and we get some more info about Kagato, which is based on Naja from this. Like, I'm glad I'm going into that rewatch with having read these, right? So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.